Hi, I'd like to personally thank you and welcome you to attending this free presentation where you will learn about the 10 questions you need to be asking your accountant when reviewing your financial reports. It is vital that you as a business owner understand which are the typical questions you should be asking. This presentation is brought to you by the Go-To Finance Coach. So let us begin. The first question you should be asking is, does your business have enough funds to pay for its short-term debt as they become due? So let me start by explaining this. Current assets are debts owed to you on your balance sheet, where current liabilities are debts owed by you on your balance sheet. This means you therefore need to ensure that you have more current assets than current liabilities at any given time. If you don't, you will have the difficulty of paying your bills and you may land up insolvent. Moving on. This takes us on to question 2. How long can your business survive without generating any revenue? Well, as a business owner, you should be asking your accountant for how long the business can survive on its existing cash flow to fund the business, assuming there is no more income generated. Why do you ask? Well, this gives you, the owner, a better sense of the margin of safety you have and the urgency of having to generate future cash flows. The longer the number of days you have to survive on your own without generating an income, the better for your business. Moving on. Question 3. Where have you spent the cash? We all know that cash is the lifeline of any business. As a business owner, you should be asking your accountant where cash has been spent in the business. Remember that cash flows into a business and then leaves the business, and then the process repeats itself. Obviously, as a business owner, you need to ensure that you are spending cash in the right places. By looking at your cash flow statement, you should be able to get a good understanding as to the movement in your cash balances. Moving on. This brings us on to an important question. How quickly is your business generating cash? If you are generating revenue, you need to be able to convert your credit sales and inventory into cash to fund your expenses. The aim should be to let cash flow through the business and not sit too long in one spot. You therefore need to understand your cash conversion period. The longer the period, the less favorable it will be on your cash flow position. Always look at trends to compare your results to determine if there has been an improvement or if your cash cycle has deteriorated. Moving on. Question 5. What are your profit margins and have they improved compared to last year? This is every business owner's concern. Without profit, you don't have a business. But when you make profits, you need to understand what your profit margins were on your sales. If you are making less profit margin, you will have less profit remaining to pay for the cost of running your business. Moving on. Question 6. What is the average time your customers are taking to pay? It is vital to your cash flow that your customers pay you on time. Well, we know not all of them do. If your terms are 30 days from invoice, then what is the average time your customers are taking to pay you? The longer the period, the more indication you will have that your credit collection processes are not working and you stand the risk of having bad debt, which will reduce your cash flow. Moving on. Question 7. For those that are managing inventory, what is the average time it takes to sell your inventory? How long do you sit with your inventory on average before it gets sold? The longer it takes, the more money you are investing in something that is not generating you cash fast enough. Moving on. Question 8. Did the business make any cost savings and where? When you look at your income statement, you need to be able to assess which costs have gone up and which costs have gone down from last year. You can compare the growth of costs year on year, or you can compare the costs as a percentage of your revenue. You need to focus especially on fixed overheads and make sure they have not increased disproportionately to last year. This will give you a good idea how well costs are being monitored and tracked in your business. Moving on. This brings us to question 9. Do you have enough cash flows to service your debt repayments? This is important to those that rely on debt as a method of financing your business. When you have debt, you need to service it. If you don't, you stand the risk of defaulting, which is not where you want to be as a business owner. You need to be able to assess if your cash flow can service your upcoming debt repayments. The more cash flow cover you have, the better for your business, and the less stress you'll have about missing business critical payments. We are now moving on to the final question in this presentation. What is the break-even point of your business? When you run a business, you have unavoidable operating costs. These costs are mostly fixed and they are paid through the sales you generate. If you do not generate enough sales, you won't be able to cover your operating costs. This leads to the question as to how many units you need to sell to break even. This now brings us on to the end of the presentation. Let's just recap. You have now seen the 10 questions that you should be asking your accountant. Most of the answers to these questions come from what we call financial ratios. The rest of the answers come from what we refer to as your financial reports. But you would need to know where to look and how to interpret the results. We do hope you found this presentation useful and there are some questions you intend on asking your accountant. If you wish to watch this presentation again, please register on our website or visit our YouTube channel. At the Go2FinCoach, we provide business finance coaching programs. This will help you to improve your knowledge about finance so that you will understand your numbers. For those that are interested, please visit www.go2fincoach.com. We thank you for watching this presentation. Until next time.